Alright guys, welcome to Bad Dad Tarot. If this is your first time, if you're a return viewer, subscriber, welcome back. Appreciate you guys. I know it's been a little while, just a lot going on in my own personal life, as well as just the state of the world right now, which is why I'm doing this reading now. I want to figure it would be interesting and maybe timely to do a reading as to how to find peace in the midst of the chaos. So let's see what we can find here. Again, as you hear from all other readers, tarot is for entertainment purposes only. I tend to read, hopefully, to give some encouragement, to look within, more than depending on my readings or anyone else's readings. Look within. But it is currently March the 6th, 2026, and a lot going on in the world right now. And if any of you are their lives are similar to mine, there's a lot going on in your personal lives as well. We're coming into spring, which to me is technically the new year. Not quite yet, but we're almost there. We're approaching it. But let's see what we have going on here. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, liking the video. There's links to my music and my other channels, other places you can find me in the description box below. Spirit. Let's see. In the midst of all this turmoil and chaos, whether it be externally or what's going on within us, what's going on in the world or what's going on in our own personal lives, Spirit. Let's talk about finding peace in the midst of the noise and the chaos. If you'd like to schedule a personal reading, that is also in the description box below. All right. Makes sense. 3 of Swords. Heartache, betrayal, feeling like the wool was pulled over our eyes. We were told one thing, and then something else is what the actual truth was. 5 of Cups. Subconsciously, a lot of regret. A lot of times people will say, oh, he's not turned around looking at the 2 cups behind him, the new cups that can be filled. Maybe he set those down. He's mourning the 3 cups that are laid down here, spilled out. He's mourning the loss. He's mourning even regret, mourning in regret for decisions made in the past, or people that we supported, people that we gave our love to, people we gave our trust to. There's some mourning in that, some regret. And maybe these 2 cups, he is on his journey, but he's taken the moment to go stand here and pay respects, I guess, to past decisions. It's like sitting in moments of meditation and thinking about things that we once allowed ourselves to believe, and then we feel like a fool because, again, the wool is pulled over our eyes. So it's created a heartache, or a feeling or feelings of betrayal. Sometimes that center sword to me is not the external people who have betrayed us, but it's been our own thoughts, it's been our own actions. It's been, oh man, I'm smarter than that. Why did I allow myself to think that? I'm smarter than that. Why did I allow myself to go and make this investment? Man, I knew in my gut when I met this person there was something that didn't sit right, and I knew they were being dishonest, but I still allowed myself to trust. Now I'm going to say, even without the cards saying it, I'm going to say don't beat yourself up too badly over this, because a lot of us, we want to trust. We want to believe that most people, if not all people, have the best intentions, but in our minds, we know logically that they don't. So it is sometimes that as well. And then also sometimes the people who have betrayed us did not intentionally betray us. It's something that, life happens. Just as much as we betrayed ourselves making bad decisions, sometimes others also made a bad decision, and the end result was us being betrayed, or us feeling betrayed by them. Maybe they've got some regrets. Page of Wands. This is he's inspecting this wand, the staff that he has. He's inspecting the life that's on it, even though it's a branch separated from the tree, so it's no longer receiving nourishment. It has enough nourishment within the wand. If you've ever noticed that before, a branch that's been cut away from a tree can actually begin to still produce leaves. Now, is it going to fully grow? No, not without being replanted or pruned or whatever that's called, where you I forget what it's called, where you can, it's not pruning, but you can cut a branch and you can, from one plant, and you can attach it to another plant and it'll grow from there. I forget what that's called. There's a technical name for it. In gardening, you can do that. But he's taking a look at he's looking away, he's looking the opposite direction than the guy in our subconscious position who's looking down in regret. This is us going forward. We're looking up and we're looking towards new fruition of ideals, of things that we're willing or wanting to create. This is about creativity, it's about passion, it's about action. And it's the page, so it's like starting anew. It's maybe not completely starting over, but in this page energy, this is about kind of going back to the drawing board, so to speak. Let me get a couple of here on each one of these. The Seven of Wands in reverse, deciding that it's no longer beneficial or even prudent, I guess, to feel like we have to defend ourselves. Six of Cups, it's about reciprocity. It's also about remembering times of, it can be about reconciliation as well, but this is kind of about remembering times where things were better. Remembering when love was prevalent in our lives, love was present in our lives. Not love necessarily romantically, but maybe in your situation you take it as it applies. Maybe you're no longer feeling like you have to guard yourself because your heart's been broken in the past, and now you're more willing, because you've healed over those things, you're more willing to actually give and receive love again. So maybe this is about a renewal in our belief in each other, our belief in ourselves. And then going forward, the Queen of Cups. Now, she is the wise queen when it comes to the emotions. She's also very guarded. She always has the cap over her cup, so she's not just going to, she keeps her love protected. What's in her cup is protected and contained. You keep a cap on your drink when you're drinking from it, so that if the cup gets knocked over, it doesn't spill out most of the time. So that's kind of what she has here. It's like a layer of protection for the heart. But if she wanted to spill it out, she has the ability to remove the cap, to share what's in the cup, meaning our emotions, our intuition, our thoughts, with others that we care about. Now, she may also be looking back at this time when she was more freely giving and receiving of love, which resulted in this heartache, this betrayal, this feeling of betrayal anyway. And then we go forward here with our Five of Cups. We have the Knight of Pentacles. This could be an offering coming in, but this is in the subconscious, so it may be something we're trying to manifest. We're trying to manifest the manifestation of a new idea, this thing that we're trying to go back to the drawing board and try all over again. Now we're trying to not convince ourselves necessarily, but kind of self-programming of the subconscious by affirmations, if you will, even with positive thinking or whatever else, whatever your means of manifest or meditation, affirmations, whatever your means of doing that is. You're in this, or we are in this place where we want to manifest a new the new idea. We want to manifest it into the 3D rather than just being in our minds. It's like bringing the thought and then speaking it and then actually manifesting it into the physical, you know. It's like having an idea of something. Well, there we have the Page of Pentacles as well. Same pentacle being delivered. So it is. We want to see manifested in reality the thing that we have already envisioned. Again, I was going to say it's like an architect maybe who has a plan in their mind for a new design for a building or something like that. Something that'll be more sustainable or is going to be more structurally sound. The foundation and all of that stuff. There's new ideas as in a way to build a certain thing. You know, it could be architecture, it could be anything else creatively. It could be an artist even. They see in their mind first, they see the thing they want to create and then they begin to draw it out. And then once they're finished with the drawing, then it's actually manifested. Or again, going back to the architecture example, it could be an architect who has an idea for a building. They plan the building, they draw it out, they consult all the engineers, and they got to find out all of the information here. That's the Page of Pentacles here. They got to find out all of the information as far as, yeah, it looks good on paper, but would it work in the real world? Could this actually stand? You know, and it's finding out all of that information before you actually begin breaking ground to build said idea for a building or whatever. And then it takes us into the Ten of Pentacles. So it is going to eventually, in our subconscious at least, in this position, it is going to eventually be seen as a winning idea. It is going to be seen as being, okay, we've got all the information we needed, and then we've talked to the engineers, the drawing has been, you know, not edited, but it's been changed and everything in whatever ways that it needs to be changed in order to fit reality. You know, it looked good on paper, but how do we make it work in the real world? So now this is actually coming to the point that we're ready to actually begin breaking ground and build it, make the thing happen. So let's continue forward here. Going forward, High Priestess in reverse. That's not always a good thing. With the Lovers. And then the Wheel of Fortune. So trying not to, as we go forward with that new idea, with that Page of Wands, as we go forward in establishing the foundations of this new thing that we've created in our minds, and now we're all ready to, you know, again, break ground for this new building, this new idea, this new business plan, or this new piece of art, as we begin getting all of the materials together, we're not going to so much try to look forward. I don't want to say not using our intuition, but it's like we don't want to try to look too far ahead into the future of it. Maybe that's what's happened in the past. We tried to, let's say it's a love relationship. You've met somebody and, there was something about them that already didn't sit right, but then you've tried to look so far into the future that, oh, well, if this and this and this happens, though, I can make it work, or I can change them. That's a really dangerous place to be anyway, is wanting to change somebody from who they are. You have to accept them as they are if you're going to do that. But it's like, I'm not going to defend the past heartaches. I'm not going to use those as my defense or my reasoning for not moving forward into the new thing. A failed business plan in the past doesn't mean that it's going to fail in the future. So let me not try to look too far into the future with this thing, but let me try to operate. I'm not typically one to encourage people to just operate out of your emotions, but that is kind of what this is. Operating out of both the masculine and feminine in correlation, in coordination. I'm getting my mind here, but also like in working with spirit, you're using both the masculine and feminine aspects, which means both taking action and knowing when to rest and receive. And in doing that, we're going to see the wheel of fortune turn in our favor going forward. That actually sounds pretty good to me. Let's see what this one was that came out face down by itself. It's the Hermit in reverse. Coming out of your hole. Okay, so in finding peace, in the original intention for this reading, finding peace in the midst of the chaos. It's first of all realizing whether or not we are healed, whether or not we are past the point of using past failures, past betrayals, past heartaches as an excuse or reason as to not move forward into a new venture. Last time I tried that, last time I met somebody in person, they turned out to be a something, whatever. Last time I went on a date with a friend, it ruined the friendship. Last time I allowed somebody to set me up, it turned bad. Last time I was with somebody and introduced them to my friends, I ended up sleeping with my friends, or whatever. This is kind of coming out of that. Now me, I'm not going to, again, I'm very much a hermit, so I'm not the guy that's going to be telling you, no, I think it's better to just be out there and be the life of the party. I've been that person, right? Now I really enjoy my alone time, my solace, and maybe that's the way you guys do, or your solitude, rather, finding solace in solitude, really. And maybe that's kind of where you guys are at too. But I don't feel like this is the time to shrink away. This is not the time to hold your words. This is the time to speak what you're thinking, because you may find that more people around you are actually in agreement. Last time I spoke out on this and this and this, people called me crazy. I lost friendship. I lost lovers. My marriage was ruined because I spoke my opinion about politics or COVID or Pizzagate or whatever. I don't know we don't have to go into all those things, but it's kind of that type of thing. Last time I spoke what I thought about certain things, people rejected it. Maybe you're going to find that a lot more people's eyes are being open to what you saw back then, and now you're seeing it again, and maybe speaking on it this time around. People will be more willing to accept what it is that you're saying or what you feel. Maybe this time around in a love relationship, maybe you're going to speak on the red flags that you see. You're going to ask more questions. You're going to, rather than jumping in with the hope and a prayer of a thing turning out in your favor, you're going to maybe ask, like I said, you're going to ask more questions. You're wiser at this point. Obviously older, years have passed, regardless of what your age is. You could be in college, but you're not the same person you were in high school when your heart got broken. I don't know, guys. I'm trying not to make it necessarily about love or relationships, but I do feel like that can be applied here. But I really feel like this is a time not to hold your tongue. This is a time to speak and ask questions. And also in the Reciprocity, in the Six of Cups and the Lovers, being more willing at this time around to have open discussion, to listen to what somebody else's reasoning is as to why they don't agree with maybe what you say, and listen without the intention of response, but listen with the intention of understanding. It's not always about, I don't like having conversations with people like that who only listen to what I'm saying in a debate or argument or discussion, and they're only listening for the opportunity to respond with what they're already thinking, because they're not listening to what I'm saying. And I've been guilty of doing the same thing, so not to put that on other people all the time, but I really feel like that's kind of what's happening here. And there will be more readings coming, guys. Again, I apologize it's been so long, but that's kind of there'll be lives coming up again soon as well. Like I said, there's just been a lot of things going on, not just for me, but for a lot of people. I'm already aware of that. So appreciate you guys. Again, appreciate you hitting the subscribe. Share the video if you feel the need to do that. But thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.